11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. It's been a very well-earned nap that I've just woken up from. In case you had tuned in to Cricbuzz Combox, you would have seen that we were nodding off at a point where Sri Lanka was scoring at about 1.5 or 2 runs and over. They have somehow walked their way to 203, almost batting out their 50 overs. And with the start they got, more than anything else, they will be devastated with that. And given the fact that they are the ones who have all the running to make for a possible semi-final spot. Pretorius, a surprise package from South Africa, 3 for 25. Morris picking up wickets at the end. Rabada efficient, just the 2 wickets to show for 36. The only names on the scorebook that worth showing were up there in the top. Kusal Pereira and Avishka Fernando. After that, it was just little contributions which don't seem to be enough. In the studio, yes, they're up and about. Joy and Zaheer, it was that kind of a crawl that we really didn't expect after the first 10 overs. We spoke in the 15th.
Yeah, especially after that first wicket on Rabada's bowling, the main batsman getting out. After that, they responded very well. That those first 10 overs were actually good to watch, and you actually felt that okay, they've seen off the tough phase of the spell, and now these two will build an innings. But I think they just kind of had decided that okay, that's the mold they're going to bat in. And that's the intent they're going to show and be aggressive. But suddenly, losing those 2 wickets in quick succession just kind of made them lose track. I think they lost the tempo of the match. They could have easily maintained that tempo after first 10 overs when, getting runs close to 7 runs per over. After that, even if you look to change that gear and collect runs at 4 runs per over, 4.5 runs per over for the next 10-15 overs without losing wicket, that really sets the platform for the back end of the innings, because the wicket has not looked very difficult. So I think it's just the approach and intent, maybe wanting to be too aggressive or over aggressive is something which has cost Sri Lanka lose the way in the innings. And once you lose wickets in any stage of the games, it's and especially in that phase of the match, it's always very difficult for you to come back. So it's unfortunate, but I think that smartness was not shown by the Sri Lankan batsmen there today, being proactive when they were batting.
And yeah, and if you have a look at that, we'll look at it one more time, Joy.
Yeah, I knew it. This is one of the strangest innings progressions I've seen in my life.
You can have 3 or 4 overs where you score at 1 or 2 and over, a couple of maidens.
Then go to 2.4, 2.4. Then when you're supposed to accelerate also, it's 4.8. Then you go down again to 4.3. Obviously, there you're losing wickets and you don't know where you're in control. But at 2.4, at a situation where you have lost just 2 wickets, you just somehow meandered and completely lost your way. And that's a strange thing. The other thing is, if you look at all the batsmen, either they have a run rate, the top 2 batsmen have a run rate of 88.4, 103, and then the rest of them 43, 37, 58, 39. Nobody else has got going at all.
And Jeevan Mendes, you're seeing 18 of 46. That's after he hit a 6 and a 4 towards the end of his innings. Before that, he was striking at around 10 or 11. We were joking about,
yeah, his run rate was in single digits for a long time.
Single digits. And even Kumar Sangakkara was who usually doesn't mince his words, but he tends to be a little easy on his players. He said he's wearing the wrong jersey for a test innings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was grinding his way at test innings. And I frankly don't understand it. I can understand this. Suppose, you're a team who's been knocked out of the tournament. Suddenly you've had big losses. You've been shot out for 30, 35 overs in 2 matches. So your captain has told you, remember Afghanistan, bat out 50 overs. You need to bat out. I can understand that. This is not a team like that. In a situation where you've won 2 matches, you're in the running. You need to win this match. I just cannot understand what they were doing.
That's a perfect example, because the day Afghanistan did it, it was actually good for them, because they knew the total was too high against England, batted the 50 overs, and the result came against India. They had that mindset of 50 overs.
They've always had that mindset. I think what today's innings shows that they tried to be aggressive at the top. Even though they lost a wicket, they were in that mold. After that, suddenly they lost 3 wickets by say 12th or 13th over, and they were like, okay, now we have to consolidate, and then they went in the shell. So if you stay in that same kind of pattern and get all out for 203 in say 40 overs, it's still okay. So it's I think they got confused halfway through, and by then it was too late, and they ended up playing the 50 overs, and so not here, not there. sort of an innings from the batsman. But also you have to criticize the batsman as well. Like if you see some of the shots which we've seen was not very responsible shots. You know, stepping out, trying to hit, even though not finding a way of collecting those runs at 4.5, 5 runs per over, and those 20 overs, I think from over number 11 till 30th is
All at
is the
2.4.
phase, yeah, because 2.4 you got to keep the tempo going. I mean, from six even if you've lost wicket, I think you have to find a way of keeping the tempo somewhat close to the 4. I think in today's cricket, once you scored 70 runs in the first 10 overs, that shows that the wicket is not that bad. You should be able to find a way of scoring those runs at 4 runs per over.
Another example was when JP Duminy comes on to bowl. I know he's taken a hat-trick 4 years ago, but the fact is, first ball, reverse sweep attempt, gone. Dhananjay De Silva. He was actually looking okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you're doing it, you've seen out bowlers who you've seen for 10, 15, 20 balls, you're giving them respect. The ball has come first time. He's the first ball he's bowling. Abhi to respect. They watch him for at least 3, 4 balls. When you need to watch, you're not watching. It was a very strange innings. And that's one of the things that happens, which I believe with inexperienced batting sides. What happens with inexperienced batting sides is, you know that if a Virat reaches a 20-30, his likelihood of converting this into a 50 is almost 80%. Maybe there's a 40-45% chance of getting 100. But these guys, they're getting to their 20s and 30s, just not converting. And the only experienced batsman there is Angelo Matthews. Once he was unable to convert and lost his way, all the rest were, as I said, if you put in that kind of defense, then at some point in time you should be scoring at 6, 6.5, 7 to make up for it. None of them did. That's the problem.
There was an interesting tweet from Ankush on the Cricbuzz app, and the thing he said was, England will be watching this game and saying, Sri Lanka, why us? One day they decide to wake up was against us, and now they've gone back to being the Sri Lanka that we've been talking about from matches 1 through 5.
South Africa will be very happy that they are in good position right now to win the game. I think we shouldn't say it till the time game is over, because they're also having that kind of a tournament this World Cup. So we'll have to see now, whether Sri Lankan bowlers have the belief still left in them, whether they can win this match or no. Because we all know that if they are not able to pull this match through, then it is not it's just matter of time rather to go back in the same kind of zone what they've started the World Cup with.
But the thing is, if you see a 203 and you haven't batted your 50 overs, you're telling yourself, okay, it's Durham. It could be that Durham pitch that is seaming all over the place. It wasn't. You look at all the 10 wickets that have fallen. Maybe the first one took him by surprise, but it was not really.
But first one was a good delivery. More than anything else, good delivery. But as Zach was saying, he's saying maybe the pitch is a bit bouncy, right? Is it a bit spongy?
Yeah. Little, but you can still play your shots. It didn't look like very alarming kind of a wicket, or it's certainly not a wicket where you get all out at 203.
And Avishka Fernando showed that. When he was in, he looked so good. He looked confident. He looked as he was going to get a big 50, 60, 70, set the platforms for someone like Matthews to come, De Silva, Kusal Mendes. But it just...
Yeah. More than anything, this didn't look like a team that had just won a very, very good victory against a champion side.
And who have a chance to get to the semi-finals.
And who have a chance to get to it. That's the tragedy of it.
Well, South Africa, if you have a look at what they have at their disposal in terms of their batting, yes, we may see a few chinks in their armour, but just a look at their bowling for a start before we see what they have in terms of batting options. And we saw briefly what Tahir was a little surprising in terms of not getting wickets. He started appallingly with a full toss and a half tracker, but then got it together, 3.6, excellent. Probably one of those unlucky days when he didn't take a wicket.
Yeah, it was an efficient bowling performance. This wasn't a bad bowling performance at all. It was efficient. Everyone did their jobs. I think Dwayne Pretorius really impressed me because he got the ball into the right areas. It's not that he was particularly, devastating, but he got the ball in places where batsmen made mistakes.
Also at 46, he's got the highest number of dot balls in this tournament in a single spell. Pretorius.
46, wow, 46 out of 60. That means other than 14 balls, all his balls were dot balls.
And he's level with Jason Holder.
Someone got 41 or 43. Shaheen Afridi, I think, got 41 or 43 dot balls the other day.
Yes, and Jason Holder got 46 or 45 against India.
Okay. 2 medals.
So there you go. Talking about dot balls doing the trick. Let's have a quick look at the South African squad and see the 11 that they have in terms of batting. Hashim Amla will be one who will want to cash in, because it's one of those situations where Faf will tell them that, look, this is our chance to go out on a high. We know we're not playing for anything, but the batsmen have time to get in with the 204 target.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I'm saying it only because South Africa is already out of the tournament, but I would bat Rassie Dewson right up. Maybe replace Namla with him, or maybe put him at 3, put him somewhere, give him a chance. He's your future, give him a chance. Go and tell De Kock, okay, there's a new story, it's a new career. You guys are going to be the guys leading South African cricket over the next 5-10 years. This is your chance. Go and express yourself in a World Cup. You get off, it works, very good. If it doesn't, we've got nothing to lose out here. I would.
There have been a few questions being asked about Amla, trying to basically get into it, because there was a point a couple of years ago, be it 50 over cricket or test match cricket, he was scoring huge runs. He had averages well in excess of 50, and you could see it progressively coming down, almost as alarmingly as we saw Ricky Ponting towards the end of his test career. He was almost 59 point something at one stage, and then he kept coming close and finished off just about over 50.
No, Amla's biggest thing was Amla's conversion rate from 50 to 100. There is unparalleled. 45-46% is to convert it. That means he got a 50, means almost half a chance that he's going to get 100 as well. And that has dropped off dramatically. So he was right up there. So those are all worries that they have, that, look at that. That gives you a sense of what it is. And he has, this is 32.6 from a man who averages over 50.
So if you have both sides are pretty alarming. Already since Jan 2018, it's not quite the Amla we knew from 15, 16, 17. And in this tournament, it's even more reduced, because this is a big tournament, it's a big stage, and that's where you want him to get the efficient runs. I know there's some suggestions of reflexes and other things, but how do you assess a batting performance like that from such a class player?
It happens with everyone, It doesn't matter whether you're a bowler, batsman. Just as a cricketer, you go through these phases, and especially at this stage in your career, you have to find a way of adapting, and that's something which Amla will have to figure out. Certainly, those numbers are suggestive of that fact that it's been going down, and the conversion rate has had a great impact because of that. Because yes, reflexes do go down as you get older. That's the fact. But there are ways of dealing with that. Some people, most people actually, you've seen particularly batsmen spending more time in the nets. Getting used to hitting more number of deliveries. You have to evolve and adapt to that phase of your career, which possibly Amla will have to go and find a way of answering the questions which have been thrown at him, and it's the answer pretty much every time is simple, that you have to go back to basics and with your game plan figure out a strategy which will work. There are a lot of players who've played cricket till as late as 40, 41. The great Sachin Tendulkar also we've seen used to spend so much more time in the nets and get that bat speed going, because end of the day, as batsman, you are reacting to what is coming at you, and for that you need hand speed, you need reflexes, and you need eyesight as well. So it's a combination of everything, and the footwork is key. So for that also you need to be spot on, working with checking all those pointers for you to keep that wheel turning in a coordinated manner. If it's not in coordinated manner, things don't fall into place.
Thinking of that short ball from Jofra Archer, now if you put that into context, and given that he was out for a bit, it could all be adding up.
Yeah, it's also psychological. You get that first up and first match, and it wakens you up, and suddenly you tell yourself you're not. And it's just bad luck to be up against a bowler of the speed and quality of Jofra Archer in your first match. Concussion doesn't help. All these are factors, and they can't be easy for him. In fact, they kept him out of a couple of. He's just not looked the kind of player, because one of the things that Hashim Amla brings to the crease, or whenever he bats, is calmness. Even when he's scoring runs very fast, he looks calm as a batsman. He looks always in control. And that's somewhere that calmness I haven't seen this time. You don't see that stillness that you were used to seeing with an Amla.
Yeah, it's almost like when MSD got all riled up in the IPL, you were wondering, could this be Captain Cool?
Can MSD lose his cool? That's not possible. Obviously, it's an alternative universe we live in. But, just to give Amla some hope, Just today, a 55-year-old table tennis player has won a bronze medal in the US Table Tennis Championships. Not US, the European Table Tennis Championships. 55 years old, and table tennis is such a reflex game. It's absolutely amazing. So things are possible.
Not suggesting that age is the issue, Mr. AMLA, but certainly it's a good point to make that if that was the direction that you're thinking, there is still hope. But for someone who's quite young, but one of the captains who hasn't performed, how often we've talked in this World Cup, big men, big players, all standing up across teams. But the one who hasn't quite done it is Francois du Plessis, the captain of South Africa. And you can see this list of all the other captains, Morgan, Coley, Williamson, Finch, who've all been piling on the runs. A couple of 50s for Faf du Plessis, but even then, even those innings haven't quite been convincing. So, yes, AMLA and du Plessis. So ideally, from South Africa's perspective, if they were to go on to win this match, they'd love a 70 from each of them.
He has been getting starts, he's got 250s. It's just that he has not converted those starts into big 100. And then that is something which is very important. Also, when you are a captain of a side, there are too many things just distract you from focusing. Maybe when you have injuries going on, when you have team combinations, there are so many things which captain has to deal with. Also affects form or focus in matches. So that's something which might be the case with Faf. But today, with 203 to chase, it's going to be an easy task for South Africa. It looked like if those 50-60 runs which we speak about, like 260, 270, around that, those 60 runs matter a lot. When you know that you have to just bat at 4 runs per over, it's just about building those partnerships, and there's no rush. I don't think there is going to be unnecessary risk taken, which even if there was no need to take, Sri Lankan batsmen were taking in that innings which we saw. Here, South African batsmen will have the luxury of just playing the game of cricket, and after setting the platform in the beginning, getting this target. That's how I'm seeing it. I think there's going to be a easy chase for South Africa.
And also no pressure of nothing to lose. Had South Africa been the team on the brink and maybe a semi-final place at stake, then they would
then it will play on their heads. No, I think they'll play it easy. The only sort of X factor I see out here is Lasith Malinga. That Malinga will not go down without a fight. I hope they'll obviously throw the ball to him early to start with, hopefully. And if he may couple of Jaffas, gets a couple of wickets, hopes his teammates light. And Malinga is the one hope that they must be clinging to right now, and saying that if anyone can do something, it's only him.
Yeah, we said that the last time we said it, that was against England, and of course he produced the goods. But talking of England and talking of potential semi-final qualifications, well, they're a team who'll be thinking, how do we get there? We can see it was almost there for us, and now suddenly there are question marks being asked. And one of the Englishmen, we thought we'd put up a quote there as we build up to the big game on Sunday. And this is from Johnny Bairstow, saying that because we've done so well, any opportunity for someone to see we'd lost 2 games, they were always going to jump on it. People were waiting for us to fail. They're not willing us on to win in many ways. They're waiting for you to get that loss so they can jump down your throat. It's a typical English thing to do in every sport. Now that's a talking point. We talked about that with the MS Dhoni briefly, but
it's one
in England,
of the stupidest quotes I've ever heard. And that's what I kept saying, I was just talking about it today as well. How you train so many players in the nets, that's an important part of it. One very important part of a game is how players present themselves to the media, especially in press conferences. Why? The media is sitting there, only way they get a story is if there's controversy. Don't send people who are not prepared or will say the wrong thing. And this is complete lack of preparation. For to say this, you're saying every Englishman is against me. What's wrong with them? And they're not even knocked out of the tournament. They're still there. It was a stupid decision to send him, and it was a very stupid thing to say. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I think it's when you let emotions take control, that's when you lose focus at times. And in a tournament like this, by no means, when the tournament is being played at home, for England, it's a home tournament, and they have the advantage. So this is like you're actually turning your advantage into disadvantage, because now you can't escape. You're going to play all the matches in England, right? When you give a statement like this, you are actually doubting the support of your fan base. Yes, they're upset that you lost the match, but do you deserve to lose to Sri Lanka? Do you deserve to lose to
Exactly.
Pakistan? They've asked a very simple question, and the fact that they've lost and not played up to their standard of cricket, which the standard also have been set by them. Since the last World Cup, all the processes, all the planning which they've been upbeat about, everything they've been very clear about, mentioning a whole lot of things, how they've been preparing for it, how they've changed the style of play. The standards have been set by your own team. No one has doubted that when you're setting those standards. Everyone enjoyed those standards. It's the same with the Indian team as well. Indian team has set such high standard, but they somehow have learned to deal with the pressure and staying calm under pressure. There's just one situation which they've been put in, and they themselves have started feeling pressure, and emotions are coming out. So I think it's very important that someone needs to sit in that dressing room, get everyone together, and make them understand that it's just a game of cricket which you are playing. You are a good enough team to go out there and win matches and games of cricket. If you just go out there and play, if you start thinking about what's happening externally, then it's never going to help you.
If you're an Indian fan, you wouldn't mind seeing that quote. You'd put it up in the dressing room. This is what the opposition is thinking.
No, absolutely. But then think about it. In England, in their part of the world, England is a distant second, third sport compared to football. English football is under the kind of pressure where Indian cricket, you can compare only to English football. English cricket is not under anywhere close to that kind of pressure. So for them to say it when our boys are sitting with about 20 times the pressure on their heads, I think really they need, they need counseling in terms of how to deal with the media and how to do. This is a very passive aggressive quote. Oh, you don't love us because we haven't done well. Mujhe pyar nahi karte ho. It's very, rootha hua quote jo bolte hain na. It's not worthy of a top international cricketer like Johnny Bairstow.
Yeah, so just again to put things in perspective, coming back to the game, remember the first game at Chestiller Street in Durham, toss won by Faf du Plessis. Now it's looking like a really good toss to have put Sri Lanka in, who for the first 10 overs looked like they were going to put up about 280, and then everything going wrong, just 204 to chase for South Africa for a consolation victory and to dent Sri Lanka's hopes. And we certainly feel it's heading in that direction. But just to confirm, if you have a look, none of us are sitting on the My 11 Circle expert couch. We didn't even get close to it. Even though we were being conservative, I can tell you that. We didn't get to 320, 330.
So now this time you get a chance to go first.
All right, fine. This time I'll lay down the gauntlet, as it were, for how many overs will South Africa take, or dare we say it, are we going the other way? No, I'm going with South Africa, and I'm going to go 37, 37th over for them to finish the game off.
Nicely calculated.
Have I taken the best option?
I'll say 40.
I'm going to go the way which is best. I'm going to say 45, because if I win, at least I'll have the couch. But I'll have to stay that long then to watch the match. And I'll be happy if 30 ends at 37 as well. 45.
All right, so it's one of those happy to lose. So that's where we have it in terms of My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. But this time around, where will South Africa be in the 15th over? We'll, of course, be there on the spot to assess it and talk you through it on Cricbuzz Combox. That's all we have on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.